Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we are going to be talking about Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. This is a G.I. Joe movie, obviously. G.I. Joe, widely recognizable brand, one of those big 80s brands alongside Transformers, Ninja Turtles, He Man, Thundercats, etc., etc. Had a popular cartoon, sold a lot of toys. So naturally, it would only be a matter of time before it got the big budget Hollywood treatment. And we got two movies that were exactly that. The first being Rise of Cobra in 2009, and the second being Retaliation in 2013. Now, both of these movies were not good. And trust me, we will get to that when we get to the cons. But they weren't flops either. I mean, from a financial standpoint, they didn't do too bad. I mean, did they make Transformers money when that series was at its peak? God, no. But they still made enough to at least show the world that there is an audience for G.I. Joe. There is an audience for a G.I. Joe movie. It is there. All you had to do was just make better movies, and maybe more people would have become fans. But still, the audience was there. So but most obvious pro is that this movie has brand name recognition behind it. So yeah, big pro right there. Second pro, movies about Snake Eyes. Again, very obvious fact. Snake Eyes is one of the most recognizable, most popular characters in the entire franchise. So it makes all the sense in the world to make a movie about him, even though some people might find this movie to be sacrilege to the character. And we will get to that when we get to the cons, but still, it makes sense to take a popular character from a series, give them their own film. It's something another series has done in the past. What was it? Oh, yeah, it was X-Men with Wolverine. They did the exact same thing. Wolverine was a popular character in the series, gave him his own movie, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that more later in the video when we get to the cons because there's a reason, a good reason why that's a con. But still, I consider that a pro taking the most popular character and making a movie out of it. Not a terrible idea, far from it. So that's a pro. Another pro in terms of competition. I mean, Black Widow is kind of it crumbled after its first weekend. So it won't have to really deal with that. It won't have to deal with anything really until the Suicide Squad. That movie should just kill it immediately. But until the Suicide Squad comes out, this movie has some time to make some money. Not to mention the movie is a lot cheaper than the other G.I. Joe movies. So at least the bar is much lower for it to make a profit. So I guess we consider that a pro too. Uh, I really can't think of any other positive thing to say. I mean, I guess I could say action movies haven't done terrible in the pandemic. They've been some of them the better performers. I mean, look at F9. Even with Black Widow falling off a cliff, it's still done better than literally every movie that's come out in the pandemic era. Like, it has. So, it has. I guess it stands a better chance than most other genres. But now cons. There's a lot of cons. Way too many. First one. The other two G.I. Joe movies. When I say were not good, they were not good. Especially the first one, Rise of Cobra. Everyone hated that movie. Critics, audiences, fans, even the actors hated the movie. Like, it was that bad of a movie. And that kind of negatively affected the sequel a little bit. And I know the sequel tried to be like this soft reboot where they took out some characters from the first movie. They were like, let's add The Rock, let's add Bruce Willis. Surely we can make G.I. Joe into this big, big thing. and it just never really happened. I mean, G.I. Joe Retaliation did fine commercially, but it was no Transformers. It wasn't even a 2014 Ninja Turtles. Like, it just wasn't. And I think because of that, the series was kind of put on ice, like for a long time, until the idea of this movie popped up in someone's head and decided to go with this. And besides those, again, those G.I. Joe movies, those previous two, they got a stigma surrounding them that's going to affect this movie directly. Just like how the stigma of all those Transformers movies, the Michael Bay ones, affected Bumblebee. It's the same thing. So that's an automatic con. This movie is going to have to pay for the sins of its predecessors. It just is. So, yeah, that's a automatic con. Another con, from what I've heard, this movie is not good. I mean, it's better than the last two, but is that really a compliment considering how the other two G.I. Joe movies were? So, yeah, it's the best of a bad bunch, which means this movie has no hope. There's no hope for this movie. Like, there really isn't when you really think about it. But I'll explain more why. Like, I think the further we go along to this video, the more you will understand why I have no hope for this movie. But yeah, the movie's not good. Reviews are bad. So that's going to be a mark against it. So that's a con. Third con, some people, I know quite a few fans are going to take issue with this movie because, well, one, they race swapped the character, but they've been doing that like for years with a lot of these characters, so that's not even like a new thing. But I think what might be a bit of a deal breaker with fans is the fact that they unmask Snake Eyes. Not only unmask him, but they have him speak. See, from what I know, I mean, I don't know much about G.I. Joe, but from what I know, Snake Eyes doesn't show his face and he doesn't talk. And this movie breaks both those rules. And this could really piss off fans. Some fans might find this to be basically an offense to the character. They might see this, as I already said, sacrilege to the character. It's like what happened with Judge Dredd. Dredd from 1995, where you had Sylvester Stallone playing the character. The thing is, with Dredd, you're not supposed to show his face, but because it's Sylvester Stallone, they're like, we got to show his face, and they did, and a lot of fans hated it. And this movie does the exact same thing. It breaks the exact same rule. Like, why would you do that? Like, I mean, I know it would be weird to have just a movie where you can't see the character's face. I mean, there's the freaking Mandalorian had 2 seasons of a character who didn't show his face. Nobody cared about that. So, and not to, well, I know the Mandalorian obviously talked, and Snake Eyes, he's not supposed to talk. It just kind of, I guess some fans, in their opinion, they would say it kills the character. So, I guess we consider that a con, is that this movie might piss fans off. Another con. This movie is, from the second I saw the trailer, this movie has given me some serious X-Men Origins Wolverine vibes. I mean, look at the titles: X-Men Origins, G.I. Joe Origins. Like, come on. Oh, and fun fact: X-Men Origins Wolverine and G.I. Joe not Retaliation, Rise of Cobra both came out the exact summer in 2009. And that same summer, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen came out. So that was not a good summer. Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, you had the Star Trek reboot, Up, Hangover, District 9, and Glorious Bastards. It was a mediocre summer, but it still wasn't great. But anywho, off topic. Yeah, this movie's just giving me those vibes, and I feel this movie's gonna suffer because of that. Because it really does feel like X-Men Origins Wolverine in a way, Where again, as I already said, you take the most popular character of the series, you put them in their own movie, and you just hope for the best. So yeah, I would consider that a con. I'm getting X-Men Origins PTSD just looking at this movie. Uh Another con I can think of. I guess I can't really think of too much else. I think I've said all the bad stuff already. Oh yeah, Henry Golding. Look, I'm not gonna crap on him as an actor. I'm not gonna say he has no talent because he obviously does have talent. But the thing is, this movie's relying so much on him, like way too much. And I don't think it's gonna matter in the end because in this day and age, like the type of movie where like you have like one actor who can just save it, that whole thing is dead for the most part. It's dead. Like most people watch the movie for like the brand around it, not the actors. I mean, there are too many examples of movies to have like a that rely on one actor and just completely fall apart. I mean, there was, if I remember, there was Doolittle in last year with Robert Downey Jr. Relied all on him. Movie still bombed. It bombed hard too. There was Birds of Prey, mostly relied on Margot Robbie. That bombed. Trying to think. I guess there was Call of the Wild that relied on Harrison Ford. That bombed. Like again, it's just like this whole, oh, we gotta have the movie center around this one single actor. Hopefully they'll save it. It's doomed to fail at this point because it just doesn't work anymore. It's about the brand, not the actors. So that's a con too. But yeah, I think that's it when it comes to pros and cons. So opening weekend. Well, the last two G.I. Joe movies, Rise of Cobra opened with like $54 million. Retaliation opened with $40 million. That's not happening with Snake Eyes. There's no chance in hell it's making that much. I'm going to guess the highest I'm willing to go is 20. I'm willing to go with 20 million opening weekend. It could do better. It could do worse, but I'm going to go with 20. And then overall, it'll probably reach like 50, $60 million, and it'll have to rely on overseas to save it, which may not work too great because the overseas market is kind of a disaster right now. It's just not. It's not up to. It's well. How do I describe it? It's not great. It's not great in the slightest. So yeah, this movie might be screwed in more ways than one. But yeah, that's GI Joe, Snake Eyes, or who cares? Who honestly cares? So that's all the movies for this weekend. Next weekend we got three more movies. We got The Green Knight, Jungle Cruise, and Stillwater, and then that's the end of July. So yeah, it was a weird month. But anywho, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got a playlist on the homepage with all previous prediction videos I made this year. All the big movies: Black Widows, your F9s, your Quiet Place 2s, your Godzilla vs. Kongs, your Mortal Kombat Demon Slayer, Ray and the Last Dragon, Space Jam 2, Boss Baby 2, Cruella. I'm just throwing out names at this point. If you want to watch any of those or any other prediction videos I made this year, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all of the box office. Well, not the box office. All the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't because of this whole Delta variant situation. There's a. I'm not saying there's a high chance, but there is a chance that the canceled series might start up again, but that obviously that won't happen until it happens. Like I have to wait until something pops up to where I like enough things have to happen to justify a canceled episode. But yeah. But if you want to check out any of my past canceled episodes, all 71 up to this point, That way you're up to date on all these movies. You can go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. The July recap will come out first week in August. That's guaranteed. But if you want to check out any of my past recap videos, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.